Hi there, welcome to the second episode of my 10-minute moan today. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is quite an embarrassing story for the SNP, where one of their Nat-run councils has increased its investment to an Israeli arms firm by 1,200% since the conflict started. Yeah, that's right. So this is the SNP that's been there, thumping desks saying we have to have an immediate ceasefire and Israel are bad and we should be boycotting Israel, we shouldn't be supplying them with arms, etc. Meanwhile, one of their own Falkirk councils, run by the SNP, have increased the amount of money that they invest in one of the biggest arms dealers who supplies Israel. Okay, so this story is done by Douglas Dickey in the Scottish Daily Express, and his headline is "Embarrassment for SNP as the Nat-run council increases Israel arms firm investment by 1,200% during the Gaza war. Falkirk Council has boosted investments in Lockheed Martin since October 7th attack by Hamas on Israel that triggered the conflict in the Middle East." It's brilliant, isn't it? So the SNP's been left red-faced after it merged. Nat-run council has increased investments in a firm that supplies arms to Israel by 1,200% since the start of the war in Gaza. Falkirk Pension Fund now owns 59,162 shares in Lockheed Martin, with a total value of £21.3 million. The figure has increased from 4,770 shares worth £1.6 million on September the 30th last year, just weeks before the Hamas attack on Israel that sparked the conflict. It will come as a major embarrassment to the SNP, which has been pushing the UK government to end arms sales to the world's only Jewish state. Lockheed Martin is the world's largest arms firm and produces F-16 and F-35 bombers, C-130 Hercules transport planes, and the Hellfire missiles for the Israeli Defence Force, reports The National. Falkirk Council, which is run by a minority SNP administration, also holds 734,995 shares in BAE Systems. The British company has produced F-35 fighters for the IDF. The aircraft has been used in the Gaza war, which has so far claimed lives of over 40,000 people, the vast majority of whom are Palestinians. Scottish Greens Central Scotland MSP Gillian Mackay blasted the investment, saying our local authorities should be investing in good public, not in war profiteers and companies that are making a killing in Gaza. Probably no good a choice of words there, Gillian, where you say companies that are making a killing in Gaza. You probably didn't mean that, but we get what you're talking about. All levels of government have a responsibility to support a peaceful and sustainable future, but giving millions of pounds to arms dealers does the exact opposite. The shares were also criticised by SNP's trade union group. National Secretary Simon Barrow said workers themselves need to be involved directly in decisions about how to direct investments and challenge profiteering from the killing of many thousands of workers and their families in occupied Palestine over the past 8 months. The SNP has pushed heavily on the issue of Gaza since the Hamas attack, adopting a firmly anti-Israeli stance and accusing the country of war crimes. At the weekend, it emerged that Nat MP Brendan O'Hara had written to the new Foreign Secretary David Lammy saying we must suspend the arms licences to Israel immediately. Falkirk Council said decisions on investment were made by independent managers and were based on thorough financial analysis to achieve the fund's long-term goals. The local authority added the Pensions Committee does have some influence on the types of investment, though satisfying all viewpoints is challenging. They also said the situation would be discussed at future meeting after bosses received a petition and several letters expressing concern about the investments. That is tremendous, right? So Falkirk Council, SNP-led Falkirk Council, what they're basically saying is, it's not your fault, right? So if they have got now £21 million worth of investment, they used to have about 1.3 million, they've put in about 19 million quid in under a year into Lockheed Martin. And it's not their fault. Right? It's them over there. It's the independent financial advisors. No. Independent financial advisors have to ask you if it's all right to put your money in. So stop talking absolute nonsense. Somebody in there thought it would be a great idea for an investment vehicle, such as your pension fund, to plough 19 million quid into one of the biggest firms, or sorry, the biggest firms of armaments in the world, who supply the Israeli government, who are dropping their bombs in Gaza. These are incredible. These are absolutely incredible. And war is, unfortunately, a profit-making vehicle for a lot of people. That's probably why, since the advent of world wars, we've probably always had some conflict going on somewhere in the world. And there's probably not a day in the last 100 years where we've not had some conflict somewhere. And these people that make aeroplanes and bombs and rifles and bullets and tanks and all that stuff make fortunes, right? So, even if it wasn't for the Gaza conflict, right, you would think that somebody is in charge of all this money to be invested for councils would probably stay away from people that make munitions, right? Because at any time, any point, any time, their products are probably being used to kill people because they're designed to kill people. That's why you make a bullet. It's not made to fire into fresh air, right? That's why you make fighter jets, to drop bombs, okay? So these people that run this Falkirk Council and have got any decision making, what do they call them? Their pensions committee. They will 100% have been asked, do you want to put your money in here? Because it's 19 million quid we're talking about. It's not a fiver, right? So I think it would be impossible for anybody in the financial services industry to put £19 million into a pot of any description without somebody in the council knowing about it, particularly in your pensions committee, who you've said they have some influence on the types of investing. It's incredible. I think, I don't care. That's the truth of it. I genuinely don't care. The good people working for Falkirk Council deserve their pension money to be looked after. So if it's going to somebody that other people, a company that some other people have got problems with, they're not an illegal company, they're not breaking any laws, making weapons, right? It's what they do. There's loads of them do it, right? So if they're a good financial investment for the people that work for Falkirk Council and they get their pension and, in their 60 or whatever, then I don't care. Would I prefer them to do it in another way? Aye, probably, right? But it's no the end of the world to me. But I'll tell you who it is the end of the world to. See all these mad drum-beating SNP, MSPs and MPs and supporters and all the folk in the party that have been banging the drum about how terrible Israel is, how terrible this is, and we should be doing this, and Britain shouldn't be selling them arms, and all that nonsense, right? You've just took a big slap right across the kisser today because your mob are funding it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe button, but more importantly than anything else, I should SNP, any of their cult members, and particularly the ones with the Palestine flag shouting, blockade Israel and all that nonsense, right? Well, they're giving them 19 million quid to businesses that are making the bombs, right? See if you're any of these people. Know you, everybody else in the world. Have a great day. Cheery bye now.